Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and normally I talk about 3 important things for the upcoming trading week. But I'll be honest, there are so many things happening this week. I think we have like 7 different topics to talk about this week, and one which we rarely talk about because it almost never happens. And with that little bit of a cliffhanger, let's get started with our Monday Morning Must Knows. Now, of course, I feel like a broken record sometimes doing these sessions because we talk about inflation and the Federal Reserve and the FOMC and Jerome Powell. But this week, there's the dynamic duo, the Batman and Robin of inflationary data, and that is your consumer price index and your producer price index. So let's start things off in the US with our inflation data, kicking things off with the consumer price index numbers on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now you can see by this chart, it's certainly calmed down a lot over what we had between 2021 and early 2022. On the hard red edge, last reading was at 0.4%. You'll see this week, it is expected to do what? Oh, expectations are looking good. A decline. We're actually looking to drop to 0.2%, which of course would calm people's fears about rising inflation and maybe feel even better about declining inflation. But that's Batman. Let's look at Robin. That's the producer price index, which happens the next day on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And this one on the hard red edge, you can see the previous reading was negative 0.1, a contraction in inflation. That's a great sign for the markets going forward. But what are they expecting to happen this Thursday? Lo and behold, give me a red arrow, please. And they're expecting it to stay at 0, meaning unchanged, which in the grand scheme of things is actually pretty important. But this is the small stuff. This is the month-over-month readings. And a lot of people don't really focus on the month-over-month. They focus on the year-over-year. Now, Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we get that consumer price index, and we will also get the year-over-year, which is what most of the major financial institutions will be talking about. And as you can see, we've come well off those highs at over 9% to right around 6%. Now, that's pretty good, but what is the trajectory going forward, and what's the expectation for Wednesday? Now, as we talked about in the previous slide, it's expected to go month over month from 0.4% to 0.2%, which means we should anticipate a decline in the year-over-year inflation rate. And what does that look like? Arrow, please. There we go. 5.2% is what the expectations are for your Wednesday announcement on consumer price index. This is a pretty good sign because, again, the Fed has been raising extremely aggressively to bring those numbers down. As you can see on that chart, it appears to be working. I know some of you are going to go, it's not working, the Fed shouldn't do it, whatever the case may be. These actions are having an impact on the markets, and as inflation continues to drop, that may be a sign for a bullish type of market phase because it means the Fed might back off and maybe even ease a little bit. But let's be honest here, the inflation number that they're looking for, 2%. Even if we came out at 5.2, which looks great on this chart, it's still a long way from that Fed objective. But the good news is the trend is in the right place. Okay. I would normally like to bring up each one of these things individually and go through chart by chart by chart, but I just don't have the time because a lot of you don't want to sit here for 15 minutes and watch a video. You're like, get it down to 3 minutes, Merlin. That's why I talk so darn fast. Let's keep things rolling through our economic announcements. Now I want to shift to just some important dates. I'm going to give you high-level stuff here just so you know what's coming up. We'll start things off with the Bank of Canada. They're coming out with a rate statement on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So anybody trading the Canadian dollar, you might want to pay attention to that one. As you may have recognized, the Canadian dollar has been on a bit of a sell-off here over the past week or two. So that may have an impact on your trades. They're expected to stay at 4.5%. Next on our list is going to be the Australian unemployment rate. Now that number is expected to start to increase. That's Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Next, we've got the UK GDP numbers. Now, this is the gross domestic product for the United Kingdom, and that is actually expected to decline, meaning things are slowing down a little bit over there, which we've seen that same picture here happen in the United States. And finally, you have for the U.S. on Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, retail sales numbers, which are expected to decline as well. This may not be a very good sign. Remember, retail sales are a reflection of spending, and spending drives the economy, spending drives growth. If retail sales start to decline significantly, that could have an impact on our markets going forward as well. So something to pay attention to from those 4 points of data. If you're trading the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the British pound, you may see some nice swings because of those pieces of economic data. All right, last but definitely not least, as you guys know, I teach a course for Online Trading Academy in cryptocurrencies and digital assets. It is really, to me, a very important sector, even though it's under a bunch of heat and scrutiny from regulators and politicians. To me, it represents the future of money around the world. Now, Ethereum is one of the largest cryptocurrencies out there. I believe right now it's currently number 2 in that ecosystem. And as they slowly try to improve this new technology, this blockchain technology and an open source, call it global computer, there's going to be some little kinks that they have to work out. Now, for anybody who holds Ethereum, you know that if you staked your cryptocurrency, it's currently locked up in that protocol. What that means is your digital currency cannot be removed from that until they make an upgrade to their system called the Shanghai upgrade. Now, for those of us in the crypto world, we have been anticipating this release because I currently have a lot of Ethereum staked with the network, and I want to be able to pull that out and move it where I want to move it, not necessarily sell it. Well, the good news is, for anybody who has staked Ethereum, there is going to be a major announcement. And that's going to happen Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as you can see here. And what that means is, when this upgrade goes through, it will now allow depositors who have cryptocurrency staked in the Ethereum network to remove it from the network. Now, the expectations are all over the place. A lot of people believing that as soon as this is available for people to take out of Ethereum, there is going to be rampant selling out there. Truth of the matter is that most people that have their Ethereum staked right now are underwater because they staked back in 2021 when Ethereum was very high. Then we had a lot of market events which crashed cryptocurrency to the tune of about 80%. So right now we don't know which way it's going to go, but I assure you all eyes in the crypto world will be focusing on this announcement Thursday at 6:35, I know, odd time, Eastern time. So make sure you check your specific time zone. If you do hold any cryptos, I would expect there to be a lot of volatility. Why? Well, first off, they're implementing a software upgrade to this entire network. And if something were to go wrong there, you would see a big market crash. I think if it's successful, I think you'll actually see a market rally. And over the coming days, the big question remains, how much Ethereum will actually be sold? Or will you get somebody like myself who has no interest in selling their Ethereum at all and is just going to move it to a different location? That is the kind of conundrum that we're in here with the Ethereum upgrade, but it is a major upgrade. You don't see these things happen too often where an entire ecosystem has a fundamental change in the way that it functions. That is going to happen again Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must-Knows. We'll see you next week.